What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Garage Gang Podcast. With me, as always, I got Kenny Ray. I got Joe. I'm Aaron. With us today is a very special guest. She is your local KSBY Channel 6 weekend anchor. She is a 3-time Emmy nominated and 3-time Golden Mike winner. It is your Central Coast's own Megan Healy.
What's up,
Hey,
Megan?
guys.
Thanks for joining
Hi.
us.
Pod.
So excited to be here.
Dang, what a resume.
Stoked to
I
have
know.
you on. I know already.
So I have to ask, coming in, when you posted, I think it was like last week, I got nominated for another Emmy. Okay, I had no idea they did Emmys for the news. So
Yeah,
what is it?
Yeah, they do. So it's the same, National Academy of Television Arts that you see all the other Hollywood celebrities getting nominated for their TV shows. And there's regional ones for TV broadcast. So this is going to be the Pacific Southwest and our market. So SLO and Santa Barbara also compete with Las Vegas, LA,
Oh, wow.
San Diego. So we're with the big dogs. So to be honest, like being nominated, there are categories that are separated between larger market and smaller market, but some of them are not. And so it's really such an honor to be competing with all of the other like top big dogs in the industry.
So you're pretty much a badass because, that's a lot of competition, man. That's crazy. That's awesome.
And now it's
Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that
really
three-peat
excited.
going.
2020 I think was just such a whirlwind and so much news constantly. And I'm excited. The one that I'm nominated for, I'm nominated alongside Melissa Newman, who also does the weekend shows with me. And it's for the Avila fire. And I'm happy because, that was something that could have been so bad. And it ended up, no homes were damaged. No one was injured. No one died. I mean, that is just the best case scenario when you have such a large scale wildfire in such a high density home neighborhood.
It was crazy because we were doing the Avila fire, right? Because we were, at that time, last year, we were doing our first live show at Man Rock Brew and AG by AJ Spurs.
Yeah.
And, we had there's a lot of anticipation for it. And, the fire came up along with the COVID issues. And it was just like, we didn't know if we were going to have to postpone it even more. But thankfully, the first responders came through and just, totally handled it. And
We didn't
Did what
know
they
legit
yeah.
up till like a day before the
Yeah.
podcast. We were like, I don't know if the smoke's going to be too much.
We
for
should have it for the family and everything.
Yeah.
And but it ended up pretty good. So
I was standing on the 101 freeway right near Ventana Grill, and I think it's the Cliff Shore or the Shore Inn or something. And you couldn't even see the ocean because there was so much smoke. And I for sure thought that there were homes lost. The Pismo Preserve was on fire. I mean, none of that was touched. And yeah, it's incredible that we walked out of that unscathed.
Well, when you see, the damage and where it did it, like just along the hillside there and and it's like, it was amazing that no homes got burned because where it was burning, it was right next to all of them. So, yeah.
It was a team effort. I love watching firefighters in action because it's such a methodical dance, watching the air attack, watching the hand crews. It's really neat. I mean, and they're extremely brave, so we're lucky to have them.
Well, I'm sure too
Absolutely.
for you. I mean, you get like an up close view of it all. I mean, you're the one that you're like the first responder out there for the news, right?
Right. And I actually have a funny story because I was in Santa Maria that entire day. So I worked a previous shift and I got a call. They're like, this fire's getting worse. We need more hands on deck. And so I had to drive all the way from Santa Maria, and there was so much traffic, as you can imagine, because it's just such a congested area over there. And I had to legit pull over on the dirt road, jump out of my car because my producers are in my ear. They're like, Megan, we're taking you in 45 seconds. I'm I'm not even at the live shot location. I'm trying to meet my photographer, and my photographer is on Highway 101, and I'm on Price Street near Ventana Grill, to turn in there. And
Wow.
I kid you not, had to scale the side of this highway bank, running up the hill in heels to make it to my live shot. And poor girl, we had someone who was her first day training as a reporter.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, I got to run up this hill. You can take your time, but I can't be late for this live shot. And I just booked it up the hill, to make it to the location in time. So
She's
it was
seeing
a
what
lot
it
of
takes to
moving
be an
parts.
Emmy nominated.
That's what I was gonna say.
reporter.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
what gets you those 3-time
That's what
Emmy
it takes.
nominations.
My running in heels is worth it.
I bet, right?
100%.
Okay. Also, so now 3-time Golden Mike winner was the Golden Mike. What does that come from?
So it's a different organization, Radio Television News Association, I believe it's the full title. And so this is like award season, baby. And so you just every year it comes up and you submit. It's really expensive. You have to pay for your submission. Sometimes you have to pay for the actual trophy if you win. But
What?
it's basically I know I have some other things to say, but
That is
I'm
crazy.
grateful. I'm really grateful
That's-
that I have the money to put up for that and receive that in return. But it's basically just every year there's a couple of organizations. There's also the Edward Murrow Award, and it kind of just builds your, like you said, resume, repertoire, gets you noticed other places. And I think it's just like a great way to get recognized for your work because not that I'm like looking for that recognition, not that I do my work for the awards. It's just like a nice little cherry on top to say,
It's
like,
nice.
hey, that was a good job.
Yeah. It
And
makes
Sure.
it makes
it's a
you,
nice little
yeah,
nice
nice little
little
background
decor.
right
I
there.
like
Heck
it.
yeah.
I know. I noticed that first thing. I was
Yeah.
like, she did that. I know that. She
Flexing.
just did that right now.
Straight flexing on
I
us.
get that.
That's a power move.
Yeah.
We get,
It's my
maybe
flex.
one day we'll have something back.
Yeah.
there. You never know.
Yeah.
So you're originally not from the Central Coast. You're from Woolside, California, up north. Kind of, tell us about growing up there, and did you play any sports at all in high school?
Yeah, I did. So yeah, I'm from Redwood City, Woodside, which is in the
North
Bay
Bay.
Area. It's in the peninsula. It's kind of near Stanford, Palo Alto, Menlo Park, that area.
Okay.
So grew up there. I'm the oldest of 4, and I loved it. I went to the local high school. I started off in private Catholic, and then I quickly switched to public school. And nothing against that. It was just like too much for me, too far away, too much money, too rigorous. And I went to our local public school. I played volleyball. And then I ended up doing dance and theater as well, which is a sport on its own.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I honestly exerted more energy dancing on the football field than I think I did at any volleyball game that I've ever played.
My sister was a dancer, and those dance shows too, especially when you got to do like she would do 6 or 7 dances in just one show, and then she has to run back, change in like 30 seconds and get.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it takes some work.
changes,
Yeah,
the
that's
changes of
crazy.
clothes are even just.
The quick change.
Yeah, you gotta
yeah.
you gotta be on it.
They
You got to
definitely
layer.
got
You
my
got to like
props.
layer it on. So for one, you
Yeah.
can just strip it off
Just
and
to
have
like
the old
rip
one.
it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of my experience. And I haven't played sports in a really long time, but I would consider myself somewhat an athletic person. Like I work out and like to go for runs and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
What position did you play in volleyball?
Say that again.
What position did you play in volleyball?
So I started off as an outside, and I had like a good year or two, and then I kind of dabbled with right side hitter, and then towards the end of my career, I became a libero.
Okay, so you were a badass.
Uh-huh.
Because the libero,
Yeah,
that's like the
Yeah.
team captain, right? You're kind of just the one that runs around and does everything, right?
Does everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like didn't have to follow the rules. I could like sub in whenever I wanted. I wore the different colored shirt. Yeah.
That's sick.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so you obviously you liked like drama and the arts and stuff growing up too. So is that kind of something that you always had this in mind that you wanted to do what you're doing now, or is it kind of something that just came up in college?
I would say it definitely helped with where I am now, just because in high school, when I was applying to college, I knew I wanted to study or be something that kind of combined the leadership, public speaking, theater, inner works, and have something that was all 3 of those things. And so my mom was a public speaker, and she really encouraged me to kind of step outside my comfort zone in that way. And so I really wanted to follow in her footsteps. And we just decided on journalism as being a good thing, because I also like to write. And I knew that Cal Poly had like a really good journalism program. And so the combination of those things, I think, helped craft where I wanted to go. And with Cal Poly, it was just so hands-on. Like freshman year, first quarter, I was taking journalism classes. And I think that really prepared me to get a job before I even graduated.
So we have it in here that when you were at Poly, you worked for the Mustang News and the Game Day and all that. Like, what was that like? Because we love like the sports aspect of it, you know,
Absolutely.
and we've gone to the Stampede. It's Stampede, right? That's what it's called.
What the
Spring Stampede?
The tailgating thing.
tailgate party outside there? Yeah.
We always go do that, and it's fun seeing like the entertainment and stuff they have there. So is that kind of what you were a part of, like that whole deal?
Yeah. So it's funny because I started off doing sports and in my reporting career, and I love it. Sports is so fun. I mean, you guys know, like it's so much fun. The atmosphere is great.
Yeah.
You get to talk with the coaches and the players, and you get to make fun, you get to make jokes, and it's just like so much fun. And I thought that was a good foot in the door for me because I was really into sports at that time. Not that Cal Poly is like known for their sports, but it was just like a good segue, I would say. So Mustang Game Day, we do an hour-long live broadcast before the game, so a pregame show, and we would interview players, interview coaches. We'd like put packages together, so we would like do stories during the week. We started this thing called 100 Yards, where we would walk the length of the football field with a player and just like ask them questions.
Oh,
I've
I've seen.
seen
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was like one of the first people to do that. It wasn't my idea, but I kind of was part of the team to put it together. And we had just a great team of people to start that off, and just like things like that. So we would do like an hour live show, and it was just fun. It was energetic. And I took a couple of classes. We had one sportscasting class with an alumni who's now at KSBY 680 Radio. His name's Mark Willard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he like taught us about live tweeting, like live tweeting games. And yeah, it was just so much fun to get that real life experience, because that's what it's like, you know, reporting live in the field. I'd be out at the baseball games, at Kruko's, and interviewing drunk fans.
That's the best. Yeah.
That's a challenge, but it was so much fun.
So over there, when did you graduate?
In 2018. So I actually technically graduated, or I was done with college March of 2018, and then I walked in June.
Did you interview Joe Prothro?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, we actually
because we had him on the pod.
We had him on the pod.
He's
I missed that. Yeah, him, Kyle Lewis, Khalil Jenkins. I'm trying to think of who else was on that team that we interviewed.
So you were there when they made it to the playoffs and stuff like that? Because I believe that was right around that time.
What year was that? Was that
so.
It might have been like 16 or
16
or 17, something like that.
Yeah, they made it to the playoffs.
And they lost to San Diego.
But they lost the first game, right?
It was raining like crazy that day, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else was on that team. There was someone else. I'm spacing on the name. I should have like refreshed my memory before this. But all those guys were great, and it's fun being at the football games. I wish that they would do something more than their what's the play that they run?
The triple
option.
option.
The triple option.
The triple option.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
I was like,
That they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I know. With the new coach, I know. And I think everyone was like kind of grateful, but I think they needed to like work. They were doing that for so long that they forgot how to throw.
It's an old offense.
It was terrible.
It's an old offense, and it's a boring one if you're not running it.
But anyways, that's what I was reporting on, and it'd be like, they passed it off again.
You're like Joe Prothro up the middle again.
But I mean, once they threw the ball, they made it happen. I think once they started throwing, they're like, oh yeah, we could do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they just never did.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll give them some slack.
So in here we also see that you were able to be an intern for the San Francisco Giants. I mean, I have to
ESPN 1280.
Was it the Giants?
I'm the resident Giants fan here.
Deutsches.
Yeah. So it was a social media platform called Sport Talk. This is like way back. I'm like trying to even remember when I did this, but it was a startup sports social media platform. It was kind of trying to mimic Twitter.
Okay.
And I was primarily reporting on the Giants. So I'd like watch their games. I'd like live updates, and like just kind of keep up with the news surrounding them. And
Keep up on all their losses.
Yeah.
Report it.
So in other words, you'd be Giants give up another game in the 9th inning.
The bullpen fails again.
Well, I remember when they won the World Series in 2012.
Yeah,
So we went to
2014,
that.
right?
We went to that parade. I mean, 2010, 2012.
Oh, I bet that was amazing.
Yeah.
So are you a
Yeah.
Giants fan?
I am.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I don't keep up with sports now than I probably should. I think it's more like I need to, like, in my head, I'm like, I need to keep up with news, like what's happening.
You
with
got
news.
enough going on.
And
Yeah.
sports
Yeah.
to me is like a whole nother thing. I'm like, oh, I don't no idea what's happening.
You just got to hit up Dave. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
Dave, I mean, but they're all Dodgers fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Dave
So I'm
Alley.
like, I can't ask you guys.
Okay, so obviously in college, your junior year, you went to Spain. Always wish I can go
Yeah, to
travel
Europe,
to Spain,
yeah.
do all that. What was that like? What was the experience
Studying
of being
abroad, right?
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm so grateful that I was able to financially do that because it's really expensive. But I stayed with a host family. So it was me, my Spanish mom, dad, and they had a daughter who was 9 years old. And I don't know what my picture of Madrid was before going into Spain, going into the country. But like when I got there into the city, it was like nothing like I expected. It's a lot like New York or like Chicago or like a big city, or San Francisco, where you rely heavily on public transit. You walk everywhere, lots of apartment buildings, like families live in apartments, and obviously in a different language. So
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I really wanted to learn Spanish. And so that's why I did the host day, because I thought that was going to improve my skills beyond what I could do just like studying it in school. And so I was there for about 5 months, came home. I think I did like a semester there and went to school with all the other Spanish kids, would take a 45-minute metro every day to class. And then we'd go out and go to bars, go to restaurants, go
There
to
you go.
clubs. It was a lot of fun.
So you said you did that to like, improve your Spanish. How did it improve your Spanish? Can you speak?
Okay, so when I came back from Spain, I was fluent. Like I could speak super well.
Yeah.
I still speak now, and I try and incorporate it more. Like today I was out in the park and I was speaking to some families, and they primarily spoke Spanish, and I'm like, okay, I got to do this. Like I got to just like jump in there. And so I think
Yeah.
they appreciate that I even make the effort. So I can conduct interviews in Spanish. I can translate them,
Oh, wow,
but
that's awesome.
I by no means can report live on a fire in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
So no Telemundo for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You're not moving to Mexico
no,
City
not
for
really.
Telemundo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. People don't understand. It's a lot easier to learn, a different language, and in this case, Spanish, out in the field or like out on the job, meshing with the people who are speaking it than it is in a classroom. Learning all the conjugation
Immersing
and
yourself.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ordering a sandwich, and you're
Yeah.
like, do you want?
Oh, we
cheese
got
on
that
And
down.
you're like, I think I do.
Yeah.
Well, what they teach you in school is not what they speak out on the streets at all.
No.
So I took 2 years of Spanish, and I would go try to talk to my grandpa, because my grandpa is full blown Mexican, and he is like, "What are you saying to me?"
Yeah.
He's like, that is not.
It's
You
It's
know?
because like in class they're actually might have helped her, because in class,
Yeah.
especially in our high school, they teach you the Spanish that is in Spain, not like
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
the
With the
broken up.
vosotros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
So-
yeah.
so
when
is there
I
a
was in
difference?
school, They
Conjugation.
skipped over that.
Is there a difference between Spain Spanish and Mexican Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
I want to know,
So- Yeah,
what-
so with Spain, they use I would say the main difference is they use vosotros, which just means like you all.
yeah.
And so, for example, like we are talking, nosotros estamos hablando, but you all are talking would be vosotros estáis hablando. So there's like a weird conjugation. It's like a sixth conjugation that only Spanish people.
It's
Uh-huh.
it's like more proper, right?
It is proper.
Yeah, it's just like addressing a crowd instead of saying like ellos, like they or them. That would be like the main difference. They also have different dialects. So in Spain, they also speak Catalonia, and then they also speak Basque. So there's like different regions. Okay. If you go there, there's like a totally different dialect out there. And then they also speak with a lisp and really short sentences. So if you like walked into the restaurant and you, like they're greeting you, instead of saying like buenos dias, they're saying buenas. And you're like, hello.
Yeah. It's crazy. A lot of people don't understand, like in different countries, there's, especially way older countries, there's different dialects of different regions of that country, like Chinese, there's Mandarin, Cantonese, and a couple other ones.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, even for me,
and tribal languages too. Like,
even for me being Portuguese, like I grew up Portuguese in the Central Valley. So like Portuguese, most of my family's from the Azores Islands. So even Portuguese from the island to the mainland in Portugal is so much different. And I would probably compare it to like a different dialect because it's definitely more proper in Portugal. And when I was there, people could tell you're like, oh, you're from America, huh? Because of how you how you speak Portuguese. And I go, you can understand me, right? They go, yeah, but it's a little different.
But you don't have the lingo down.
Yeah, you got to have all the curse words down. That's like number one.
I know.
He used to teach me those when we lived together. He used to teach me those.
When you were in Spain, did you get to go to like any sporting events? Because I know like the soccer over there is huge.
Oh my gosh, so huge. My host dad was a season holder for Real Madrid.
Oh,
and
wow.
So
there you go.
I know. And so I got to go, and we sat like maybe like 5 or 6 rows up from the actual field.
Damn.
I'm not a soccer fan. I literally know nothing about soccer, but that atmosphere is
I bet.
Hands down.
Unbeatable. Everyone's like, go! And, like, they all just like stand up. Everyone has their
just go with
which
it.
is like a little sandwich, and they all pull it out when it's halftime. They're all eating their sandwiches in their seats.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun. I did not get to see Cristiano Ronaldo play, which is kind of a bummer, but it was like it wasn't Premier League. It was definitely something that was out of league or whatever.
But still,
league. And so it was still
That's
really
still
fun.
a hell of an experience to be able to go do something like that. Because I mean, soccer over in Europe and other countries is like their number one sport. So I can't even imagine that stadium was probably packed.
I know.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Definitely. You didn't get to go to El
What's funny though
Clasico?
is they don't sell alcohol at the stadium.
They know better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's probably
They have non-alcoholic beer that you can purchase, but you can't buy alcohol. I think it's just because everyone is so rowdy as is. They're like, we are not fueling this anymore.
I wonder if you have to pay. Do you have to pay $8 for a non-alcoholic beer too?
Probably.
That's the worst part
At
about it.
AT&T, it's like $12 for a Coors Light.
God, it's such a joke.
Oh yeah, that's.
oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing I think about when I think of other countries is the food. So Spanish food, what is the difference between Spanish and Mexican food, and what was your favorite dish that you had there?
So the biggest difference I would say is Spaniards do not like spicy foods.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And yes, they do not like it at all. I would like dump Tabasco sauce on like all my meals. I love spicy food, and my host family would just like stare at me like, who is this person and where did she come from, and is she going to be okay? So that would I say is like the main difference. The cuisines are very different because I feel like with Spain you have more of that like ocean influence. So paella is a big thing out in Valencia or Barcelona, and jamón ibérico or jamón serrano is basically the Spanish version of prosciutto. So a big thing is tapas. You just basically get like a toasted slice of bread with tomatoes, olive oil, garlic, and some jamón ibérico slices on it, and you just eat that. And I'm trying to think of what else we ate. Croquetas, which is like a cheese, deep fried like cheese and ham and potato mixture.
God, that
There's
sounds bomb.
That sounds delicious.
Gosh, I'm trying to like remember back. I ate my way through Spain, you guys.
Yeah.
I
Oh, absolutely.
totally gained
You got
like
it.
the abroad bod where I gained like 15
The
pounds.
abroad
Damn,
bod.
that is a new one.
I've never heard that
I'm
one.
gonna
You
use
got-
that.
You got freshman 15, quarantine 15,
15,
and then
abroad
a broad bod.
I like
dad
it.
bod.
Dad bod.
That there it is. Wow,
So,
that was a good one.
yes.
That was a good one.
I like it.
It
One
was
for the
worth it.
bank. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So obviously overseas, what would you say your favorite experience or moment would be over there?
Favorite experience.
I know it was probably just one big experience in itself, but anything that really, really stuck out?
I turned 20 over there,
Yeah.
which was funny because, like the drinking age is
It's like-
18, and
yeah.
so it wasn't that big of a deal. 20 is whatever. It's like kind of
Yeah.
a year. But I remember we went to a club, and I had turned 20 in the club, and we like met a promoter there or something, and he was like from the Bay Area randomly, and he, with my group of girlfriends, like we were on stage, we were like in this like VIP section. They got bottle service with like the sparklers and everything, and that was like at the beginning of this whole trip. So I would say that's definitely memorable because we didn't get treated like that after that one, but it was a good first impression.
That's funny. It kind of set the standard for the whole trip.
Yeah.
Being in the beginning.
I don't think I've ever
it
been
was
balling
fun.
enough to get bottle service.
Yeah.
I did in New York. It was pretty cool. Yeah. It was awesome.
And Spaniards like do not mess around when they go out clubbing because they will stay. I mean, like they're notorious for staying out until like 5 or 6 a.m. Like if you are going home before the metro opens at 6 a.m., like you're doing something wrong with your night.
Oh wow.
Dang. They freaking kick
Party
the
hardy.
rooster in the ass and make him crow to wake everybody
I
up.
could not do that now. I am like grandma status. I
Yeah.
have one glass of wine and I'm chilling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's
think
crazy
we're
because a
all-
hangover takes 2 to 3 days to start feeling like 100%.
Yeah.
I know. Totally.
Mentally and physically, it's like 2 to 3
Yes.
days. It's crazy.
And when you get older, it only gets that
Yeah.
period of recovery only prolongs.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're-
We're all almost. He's 30, and we're both about to be 30
Yeah.
this year. And it's like, yeah, we're getting to the point where I woke up this morning and my back hurt, and I didn't do anything yesterday. And it's like, why? You're like, come on,
Oh my
man.
gosh. Hey, well, you guys look good. You guys still kicking, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we doing
all
it.
right.
We doing it.
Okay, so this is where I wanted to do the prompter challenge, but because
Okay.
did you?
Yes, and I made you guys one for this broadcast.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Should I text it to you or it's on TikTok, but I can text it to you. You guys can still
Yeah,
access it.
do that, and I think that would probably be the best way to do it.
Okay. Or I'll DM you guys. Hold on.
Yeah, do that. Perfect.
Save. How do I
So
do
I'll
this?
explain this as she's doing this. This is something that she has put on. Do you usually put it on TikTok? I've only seen it on the Instagram.
Yeah, most of them are on TikTok. That's kind of where it blew up originally. And now that Instagram has launched their version of duets for TikTok, it's called remixes. Now people can like duet, split the screen in half, so it's like half your face, half the prompter. So now I start posting on Instagram, and it's gotten some good traction there too.
No, it's cool though because it's like you're reading the prompter from like the news people do, the anchors do, and you don't realize how fast it goes until you actually start seeing it, like you're doing it, and you're like, holy cow, that is.
So, yeah, I mean, I would say different anchors talk at different speeds. I am more of a slow speaker just because I like to take my time, enunciate, add emotion, or add pronunciation here and there. I obviously am controlling the prompter, so if you guys were in my position, you could control the speed.
Oh.
But I like to have fun. People comment, they're like, this is too slow or this is too fast, so I like to mix it up and sometimes make it almost unbeatable.
That's the way it should be.
Okay, I am sending you guys the link on Instagram now.
Perfect. Okay, I got it right here.
And so I did it. It's a prompter test, and it's sports edition with our sports anchor, Dusty. I thought you guys would like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
dope.
a Dodgers highlight.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. This is gonna be fun.
Okay.
Okay, so are we gonna each do our own individual one?
Yeah, we'll see who
Okay.
does best. All
right.
All right. Is it long? I don't. Right.
It's about like 30 seconds, I want to
Oh,
say.
that's
Oh, that's
perfect.
good.
Okay.
Should I
So-
hold it for you or?
I think I could hold it and do it.
It'll count you down, so just follow the steps.
Okay. This is first attempt.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
The Los Angeles Dodgers struggling at the plate, heading into their series finale with the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday afternoon. LA entering the month of May, losing arm injury. Sometimes got to give. Damn, this is fast. AJ Pollock at the plate with the bases juiced, pitch right down the middle. He drives it to right center field. Get up, get out. Ball for a grand slam. Pollock.
Watch this game.
Yeah, I did. The Dodgers were up the Brewers 16-4. Holy shnikes. Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that I could not do your job. Not even close. I tried to read that one fast. Let's see if Kenny can do
So
better.
we do the same one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see if you can do better than me.
All right. We'll see.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Watch again.
Yeah, watch again. Perfect.
All right. Prompter test. All right.
3, 2, 1.
The Los Angeles Dodgers struggling at the plate, heading into their series finale with the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday afternoon. LA entering the month of May, losing their man Dustin May to an arm injury. The offense looked lost. Something's got to give. We got to go to the top of the first. 1-0 Dodgers. Pollock at the plate with the bases juiced. The pitch right down the pipe. He drives it to right. Get up, get out. Ball. Grand slam. AJ Pollock. Throttle 16-4. Salvaged the finale of their 4-game series. I missed.
Even added some pizzazz in there.
I know.
I like it. Okay. This one's going to hurt Joe to talk about. I can tell you that right now.
That's fine. I'm gonna beat you guys.
Dusty's. I think he's more of a Dodgers fan than he is.
Get up, get on, get out.
And I'm sure Dusty just reads that real quick, huh?
Yeah, and I think all sports, when I cover sports too, like I definitely project and like yell. I feel like I'm yelling sometimes when I'm doing it, so it's just all fun.
I get excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of what me and Aaron wanted to do with our lives, being on ESPN back in the day. But
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Oh, yeah, we always thought that.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
The Los Angeles Dodgers struggling at the plate, heading into their series finale with the Milwaukee Brewers. On Sunday afternoon, LA entering the month of May by losing their man Dustin May to an arm injury. The offenses look lost. Something's got to give. We go to the top of the first, 1-0. AJ Pollock at the plate with the bases juiced, pitch right down the pipe, and he drives it to right center field. Get up, get out, ball, grand slam for Pollock. Would have had Dodgers throttle, Brewers 16-4, finale of the 4-game series. Dang it!
It
Hey, you
picks up
stuck
right
it
there.
to the end. You stuck it to the end. That's all that matters.
that was nice. That was nice. That was fun.
Does it really go like that fast? Like
No.
You control it.
So I had Dusty. I mean, I let him control the prompter because he does sports more often than I do, and he tried reading it after the fact to see if it was actually doable. And he said, I mean, that was the speed that he was talking
That's
at
pretty.
that night. So.
Yeah,
Freaking Dusty. Hey, mad props to you, Dusty.
that was awesome.
Thanks for helping out. I appreciate that.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It just gives people, be a news anchor for a day, have a little fun with it. I'm trying to, bridge that gap with news and the public because, I want to show people we're not just talking heads. Like I do so much more than read a prompter. And that's just like one little thing I think to involve the
it was
community.
cool little behind the scenes thing too. Like,
Totally.
low key behind the scene action going on there.
So, okay, speaking of that, one of the main reasons that we found you was because of your social media presence and all the cool things you do. I think the first video I saw was the one where you posted it and it was you changing between like a bunch of different colored dresses and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's something different you don't see a news anchor, usually do and talk about. And then I started seeing the prompter challenge and all the other little things you posted. I'm like, this is really cool to see this side of a news anchor. Because like you said, it's always just like, oh, they just tell the news and, it is what it is. That's how we know them. Like, yeah, I see that person on TV, but I don't really know anything about them. And it's cool to be able to see that side of you. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, like I said, I with my social media, I found the most growth when I'm just kind of like breaking down that fourth wall and explaining to people because I don't want to like be talking at someone or talking down to someone because that's not my job. My job is to like connect with you guys, relay viable information, tell your stories. And I love my job for that reason. The behind the scenes was more just to show people how it's done. Like the biggest question I get when I go on scene somewhere and I'm with my camera, they're like, where's your cameraman? I'm like, you're looking at her. It's me. Like I am a one woman show.
Yeah.
And so I just think to show people that, to show like the hard work that we put in to like get you guys really fair, accurate information. We try to do that. At least I strive to. So are you having some technical difficulties?
There we go. Now we exit out of it. There we go. Oh.
Hold on. Some other window came on our Zoom right now.
Oh, dang it.
I know.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I actually should remember to silence my phones.
There we go. Perfect.
I know. I was like, right before we got on, I was like, phone silence, check. We're good on that.
So speaking of KSBY, when did that come along? When was that how did that happen?
Yeah, so I started interning my spring quarter of Cal Poly. So I interned and I shadowed a couple of reporters. Alexa Bertola is one that actually I still work with, which is kind of funny how that came full circle. But I was interning for about 3-ish months, and then it just so happened that there was an opening, and I expressed interest in it, and it just worked out that I could start. I started working, and I was on air before I even graduated, which was just wild to me that they felt that I was good enough to be on air, because I look back at my content in my first year of reporting for KSBY, and it is cringeworthy.
But that's how the process goes, though, so don't beat
Right.
yourself up too hard about that.
That's a boss dog move, though.
Yeah.
Getting on air before you even graduated. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I lived in a house with 6 other girls my senior year, and so I told them, I texted them, like, I'm going on air today, like, today's the day, and they were at home, like, recording it with champagne. When I
Yeah.
got home,
Oh,
and we were
that's
all just,
awesome.
like, celebrating. It was a good time.
Tell us how nerve-wracking that must have been the first time live on air.
It was not as nerve-wracking as I expected, because I think I had, with like the Mustang Game Day, Mustang News, I had gotten that on-air feeling before. Obviously, it's really heightened when you're like professional.
Yeah.
You're in a market where there could potentially be 200,000 people watching you at one time. So I just I try to calm myself, and I try not to think that there's so many people at home watching, just more like there's the camera's just one person. So I was pretty nervous. I'm not going to lie. And I probably could watch it back now and be like, yeah, that was definitely nervous Meg talking.
Hey, but you're right. What's there to be nervous about when you're prepared?
Yeah, exactly. My first story was my first non-live story that I recorded was about the pink chocolate running out at Madonna Inn.
Which was a big deal around here.
Big deal. First world problem, but big deal.
Uh-huh.
And I ate cake on air. That was my on-air debut. And then the next story I did, which was me live, was about mountain lions sightings in San Luis Obispo in neighborhoods.
That's a very broad.
I low-key remember that too.
Yeah.
From pink champagne cake to mountain lions in the hood.
In the hood, yup.
So let's talk about how I believe I read this right. 1 year after you were hired, you were promoted to the weekend anchor. I mean, I don't know the way the news works, but that seems like a pretty quick, skyrocket for you. So
Turnaround.
Yeah.
It was. It kind of just depends. Really, you have to be in the right time in the right place and show. I think I showed to myself and to my managers that I was someone who was willing to put in the work, was willing to really help the station get to where they wanted to achieve their goals, and showing that capability to grow. And so, yeah, it just so happened that the spot became open, and I wanted to take that step and kind of further my career and further my skills and get on the anchor desk. And so within a year, I was promoted to weekend anchor, and then I also was cross-training on weather, and I did a little sports sprinkled in here and there.
Weather. That looks like something that's hard. And first off, everyone hates you if you get it wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
First of all, the weatherman on the Central Coast always gets it wrong.
you know what? And it's so picky here because each city is a microclimate.
Yep.
So you can be in Napomo, it could be overcast, it could be muggy, and then you drive 30 minutes to San Luis Obispo and it's sunny and 75.
Yeah.
So it's
and then you keep
tricky.
driving and you go to Morro Bay and it's foggy again.
Yeah.
Right. Or you go to Paso and it's 100 degrees.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it's a lot to juggle because you're also competing with the weather app on your phone, right?
Yes.
What's stopping anyone from just looking up the weather on their phone versus watching you?
Yeah. So what is like the coolest thing about being on the news? Because I'm sure there's a lot of cool little perks and stuff, and I'm sure you get to meet some pretty interesting people and stuff. So what's your favorite thing about it?
My favorite thing, I think, that kind of keeps me going or wanting to come back to work every single day is honestly meeting people and like telling their stories. I have met so many amazing people that are just like willing to just spill their entire life to me and trust that like I'm going to portray it in the best way possible. And I think to be able to have that trust and to have that connection is really special. And I'm at a point now where people will call me or text me with story ideas because they know or they feel that I could do a good job with it. And so that to me is really rewarding. The other part of that is every single day I'm learning something new. Like today I did a story on COVID and how it's impacting children right now, and when we could see a vaccine for kids younger than 16 years old. So each day I'm like an expert on a different topic. I could tell you what size your clams need to be if you want to take them from Pismo Beach. Like I can tell you all these random facts about the Central Coast or just like about California in general that like I would never learn elsewhere. But because I had to be put on this story for one day and be an expert on that story for the day, then it's just like this wealth of knowledge. So I'm really grateful that I have that.
That's pretty freaking cool, though. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
If I have a clam question, I know who to ask now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The clam shuffle. Have you heard about the clam shuffle?
No.
There's it hasn't been legal to fish for clams in Pismo Beach, I think, since like the 80s or 90s because they're not full size. And so typically if they're full size, I think you can take like up to 10 a day. But the way people get them is they go into the sand, and right when the water recedes, people like do this shuffle with their feet and they grab it with their toes and then they pick it up. So this is a tip if you ever want to go clam fishing and I guess don't want to get caught, but the state park showed me they look for people doing the clam shuffle.
It's that big of a problem that they have to sit and watch people.
I mean, it's not like the state park's like
Yeah,
top
obviously.
crime that
Something
they're
you
after.
notice.
No, but can you
they-
imagine
Wow.
being like a state parks guy on the beach and it's a nice day. Oh, somebody's over there doing the clam
Someone's
shuffle.
clamming.
Someone's clamming.
Let's go
Someone's
get them.
clamming. So do you so being a news anchor, do you have stories you propose to like your boss, or do you find it helps out that people send you proposed leads or stories on things that might be interesting to us folk or to you
Both to us
that you
folks.
pass along?
Yeah,
Hey,
Kenny's
we're
the
good
linguist
people.
in our
Remember, I'm
group.
trying to bridge that gap. But no, both, because every single day in our editorial meeting, the reporters have to come with at least 3 leadable story ideas to turn that day. So I'm doing research either the night before, the morning of, or both. And we pitch basically all the reporters will give their ideas, and then we go through all of them and we choose which one's best to do that day, like which one's the top story to do that day, and then assign them. But yeah, it's super helpful when people are sending me story ideas because we're in a 120-ish market, which means we're based off of population size. So some days there's not a whole lot of news. I think this market is really great for news, but there's just some days where
Yeah.
I'm doing a story about a stop sign or stoplight and why it's controversial. And others days where we're on wildfires and we're on shootings and we're on housing and that sort of thing. So it's helpful when people send story ideas. Obviously, some of them are going to pan out and others are just BS. But yeah, I'm trying to stay on top of it like every day. Like I'm off tomorrow, but like I'm already after today, like thinking about, okay, what's my next story going to be for my next shift?
And so have you heard like, okay, so do you guys get far out stories that you try to push, or maybe there's not much out there, so you're just trying to like push something forward or come
Like
up with
force
something,
it.
dig for something? What's like one of the craziest ones that someone's proposed?
Craziest ones. There's a lot.
I could figure, because I'd be like, coming up with some, some outlandish stuff.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're right. This isn't L.A. or a big highly populated area. So I would assume, like you said, some days are slow.
You're gonna get a Karen every once in a while.
Yeah.
Getting mad about something.
Every day, it's guaranteed. I don't read Facebook comments for that reason.
Are you tired of people asking for the manager?
Yeah.
Yeah. We always there's a running joke at the station whenever someone has a complaint. We're always like, email Richard.Gearhart, whatever, because we love Richard. He's our primetime anchor. He's like one of my good friends, my mentor, and he's just such a great guy. I think he just would. He's so nonchalant about it that we're always just like, oh, send it to him. Like, talk to my manager. I'm trying to think of an outlandish. I don't know. We get emails about like alien sightings.
Okay. I figured that was going to be one.
Which I know there have been UFOs and they're doing things. I know, but unless like you have video.
Oh, they're out there.
Not everyone.
Sure.
1,000 believe that
they're out there.
Aliens,
it's for sure out there.
I think it's selfish for all of us to believe that we're the only living organism out past the Earth.
Yeah.
So.
But like the story idea that there's a green alien walking into Taco Bell in San Luis Obispo and grabbing a Crunchwrap Supreme, like
that was just a drunk college kid.
Well, walking into Taco Bell, maybe there might be a chance.
Yeah. You got a regular Mountain Dew, not even a Baja Blast.
Dude,
who knows?
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, there's been a story here for the last 25, 26 years.
Yep.
It's the Kristin Smart case. Everything that happened with it. A lot of the people around here know that Paul Flores was accused of killing Kristin Smart and all that. So it was like a month ago when they were digging underneath the house. You got to interview Paul's mom. I think it's Susan, correct?
Susan, yeah.
Yeah, you got to interview Susan. Like, when that happened, was that like one of those like holy crap moments? Like, I'm about to interview someone that has been elusive for.
This is a huge story around here.
You know what I mean? Like, did you have that moment before where you're like, oh shit, like this is big, Yeah.
I definitely had to kind of take a step back and just understand how monumental the situation was. But then I just like snapped out of it and I was like, okay, got to get to work, got to get these elements. And then I kind of just went into like my reporter mode. But, it's been extremely interesting to watch this case unfold in real time. I know that it's been stagnant to us, but, the sheriff's office has been doing behind the scenes work for the last 2 decades. But to see kind of all of it be unveiled now is, I don't want to say I guess it's rare for not a cold case, but such a long old case to have this many developments so far down the line. And so, I was at the dig. The sheriff's office issued a search warrant at Ruben Flores' home in Arroyo Grande, which is Paul Flores' dad. And to remind you guys, Susan and Ruben are not together.
Yeah.
They don't live together. And so, I was at Ruben's house. I tried talking to them, and they have been, for the last years, totally silent to the media, not even like acknowledging, and that's understandable. And for whatever reason that day, they just wanted to invite me into the home, into the backyard. And so it was interesting the way it panned out because, again, like I had been there all day, tried talking to them, and I wouldn't say they were hostile, but they just weren't giving me the time of day. And then I was sitting outside in my news car. The search had wrapped up on the second day, and I think it was like 30 minutes to showtime. So I was like trying to edit my story, and Ruben and Susan are all there in the front yard. And Ruben comes up to my vehicle. He motions for me to roll down my window, and he's like, hey, do you want to come and see like the mess that they made in the backyard?
Yes.
I was like,
do you want an exclusive?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Well, and then I, because the other news outlets were around me, and they watched me walk into the backyard, and the Flores family turned the other people down, and I was like, the one question I obviously wish I had more time to prep, because I was back there for, I want to say like 2 or 3 hours, and just doing the live shot, getting video, and then finally interviewing Susan. Ruben declined, and I finally interviewed Susan, and I obviously wish I had so much more time to prep, but we saw the moment. We saw that she was willing to actually put a microphone on and sit in front of a camera, and we just had to go. We had to just take that opportunity. And she was extremely talkative. I don't know if you guys watched the interview, but
I was going to say you killed it.
Yeah, we definitely watched.
I think everyone watched that interview. That was
yeah.
And you say it's big news here, but it I think that made national news because
for sure.
She had stayed silent for the course of this investigation. And so anyways, it was obviously a learning lesson for me, because I wish I had asked certain questions like, why me? Why would you stay in that house for all this time when you claim that you've been harassed? So there's a couple of questions I wish I would have asked, and I hope maybe I do have that opportunity to do again. But yeah, it was quite surreal to be in that moment.
And just for this community, I mean, it's something, we have all grown up. Well, Joe grew up in Tulare, but growing up here where you're driving around, and anytime you go to Lopez, anytime you go to AG, you see that sign in the village.
Since 96.
Yeah, and it's a constant reminder, like, well, she's still out there and no one's been caught. And as a kid, you're kind of like, oh, well, that's really sad, But then the older you get, you realize, like, that's someone's daughter. That's someone, they're still looking for their daughter. Like, that is terrible. And now me being a father of my own, I can't even imagine. And so first off, I want to thank Chris Lambert and your own backyard
huge part
podcast.
of this.
Absolutely amazing work to get the story out there again and kind of get the community back fighting for justice for Kristin. And I
start putting boots to asses under law enforcement and start getting this thing rolling again. Because like you said, yes, it is a surprise that a cold case that's went on for 24 years is coming up with these new leads. But also I feel like this specific case, we wondered when it would happen. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when in my mind. No matter how it took 24, 30 years, it was going to happen because
if you do the crime, you're gonna get caught.
Yes, but it's just crazy. It's crazy, and we appreciate. I'm stoked that you got that exclusive with them because she has been hostile over the years, and it's crazy for her to finally feel like doing an interview. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome for you.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I understand that the community has convicted Paul and Ruben in their mind, but a jury has not. And so it's 100%. And that's just how it works. And so I'm not saying one thing or the other, but I'm really curious to see the evidence that's presented in court, what a jury thinks. Obviously, what happened to Kristin is not okay. And whoever is responsible for that should be get the reasonable punishment that they deserve based on our court system and based on the American law. 1000% believe that. And I can't imagine what the family's going through after all these years. I mean, like I was born in 96. So like I went to Cal Poly. It could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know that area. I've been to that street. And so I think, obviously I would love to see justice for Kristin. I would love to see as fair of a trial that is possible. I don't think it's going to be tried in this county just based on the jury pool here and
biases.
How tainted it is.
Yeah.
But I think out of a really horrible situation, there has been some good. And one of that being is the Kristin Smart Campus Safety Act that was enacted about a year or two after she disappeared. And it just allows for more resources for law enforcement to step in when there's been a sexual crime on campus. And so I think that there's more awareness, there's more voices out there, there's more outreach. I think there's been some good from this obviously horrible thing.
Right. And just like you said, regardless of how everybody's opinion is, like, they are not guilty yet. The case hasn't happened yet, or the trial hasn't happened yet. So it'll be interesting to see
due process
what evidence is brought to the table. Mm-hmm. Because I'm kind of, everybody's kind of wondering, like, okay, well, they have something. They obviously have something, but I wonder what it is that they have, and I think in due time we'll find out.
Yeah. We'll have to stay tuned, definitely.
Yeah, I'll try and bring you guys the latest update. I live tweet a lot, and I try and post as many updates as I can, but I think we are like we're trying to be super on top of it, obviously be respectful of the family, and then be fair in presenting that.
Right.
Well, because there's always so my wife listened to the podcast like religiously right when she found it, and she would keep coming to me and tell me all these stories about it, and I'd sit there and I'm listening and I'm like, sweetheart, like I understand, I agree with you, like it seems like he did, but what if he didn't? Like him and his family have been run out of this entire town, not run out, but you know what I mean, like completely vilified. And just the slim chance, what if he didn't? It's like, oh man, that would be rough. So,
yes.
But
well, that's the question that a jury, if it does go to trial, will have to ask themselves.
Yeah. So
craziness.
So Megan, you're the weekend news anchor for KSBY. You have now been on the Garage Gang podcast, which brings the utmost in podcast gold.
Yeah.
No gold mics, but gold in our mind.
But gold,
absolutely.
What is the future aspirations for Megan Healy, and or what is your dream job?
Love that. I'm currently trying to figure out that myself, but I would say I love my experience here on the Central Coast. It's been so fun. I'm loving every second of it. And I think for me, I would love to try my skill set that I've learned here at KSBY and try that in a bigger market. I would love to be in San Diego. I'd love to be in Austin, Texas. I would love to be in the Bay Area. I would love to be in Sacramento. So trying some of those bigger markets, I think just for me to like maybe try and prove to myself that I can compete with the big dogs,
Absolutely.
and work in that way. As far as like long-term goals, I think it'd be really cool to like switch into entertainment and like have my own show. I think it's doable. I think it would be better if I have a family and I can be my own boss. I think that's maybe where I'm headed. Maybe network. Who knows? The sky's the limit.
Sounds like you're well on your way. I mean, you got.
Hey, I'm gonna remember my Central Coast roots. Though
Absolutely.
I've been here for 7-8 years, so it's definitely a second home for me.
Well,
blame it all on my roots.
People seem to love you, and you have that connection with them. You got that promotion on like the first week on the job. I mean, you got that up close exclusive with someone who doesn't do that, and I mean, the future looks bright. Sounds like.
And I just want to thank you for like putting yourself out there, because I'm sure that's not easy as like a news anchor because of like people's view of the news, so kind of like you said earlier, bridging that gap between like yourself and the news and like all that, like
trying to bring down that fourth wall.
Yes. Thank you for doing that, because like that shows people that, you are not just a reporter, that you are who you are, and which is a badass.
Yeah. So
thank you guys. No, and it's so much fun. I love connecting with you guys, with the community, because you guys really are the heart and soul of my job. I wouldn't have a job if it weren't for the people out there, and I just want to be friends with everyone. And I get that people don't always want to be my friend, and that's okay. But there's room if you ever change your mind.
So we've asked a lot of important questions here. We touched a lot of topics. Now this is the most important topic. Where's your favorite place to eat on the Central Coast? What has touched you? What has touched you in that belly? What has got those taste buds going? Let us know. Let me know.
Okay, all right. Can I have like a top 5?
Yeah. No, give us whatever you want.
Whatever your heart desires.
I'm just gonna oh god, okay. So maybe I'll go in like cuisines. My favorite Italian spots are Giuseppe's.
Okay.
The Flatliner's my favorite, and their ravioli, butternut squash ravioli is my fave. I also love Flower House. I love Ocean Grill in Avila Beach.
Okay.
Their seafoods to die for. I also work there, so in college I used to work there, so I'm a little biased, but their food's amazing.
There you go.
Sushi wise, I love Pacific Umi in Grover Beach.
I don't think I've been
I
there.
don't think Pacific Umi.
What are my other favorite
What's that one
places?
that everyone likes to go to in Grover? Like
Yanagi?
right next to Orchid Burger.
Oh, Mikado's.
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 No, that's not
Yamato.
Mikado's.
No.
Yamado's.
Yamado's.
Yamato's. Yes, I haven't eaten there. My roommates like to go there, but I think Pacific Umi. It's more pricey, but I'm someone when it comes to sushi, it is quality over quantity.
Gotcha.
That's right.
I think it kind of has to be dealing with sushi in my mind. You know,
Yeah.
you want quality over quantity.
Yeah, right. There's
You don't
like
want the
down
$5 salmon roll.
No,
Yeah.
okay. There's a
Well,
reason that's
down the street
$5.
From Pacific Umi is the all you can eat sushi and barbecue, and I've never been there. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna.
No.
That
I'm not
scares
gonna
me.
try that one
When it's
out.
all you can eat sushi, it's like, okay, that's some imitation crab and all that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, you're dealing with raw foods. Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah,
quality.
no, you don't want to play with that
Yeah.
fire.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think. I love Scout coffee. That's like one of my
Okay.
favorite coffee shops. Oh man.
There's a lot of
Hey,
good
I'm not
eating.
gonna lie.
Ember is great.
I'm really relieved that you didn't go with the basic answer that everyone always says is Firestone.
Firestone.
Yeah.
Everyone always says Firestone.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong, Firestone's good, but
It's great.
everyone's always like, "That's the best place." I'm like, "There's a lot of."
They're
places
going through a
better than
bad rap
Firestone.
right now. in my opinion.
Hey, it's great. You get a $6 salad that's like literally the size
Yeah.
of you,
Yeah.
and it's great. I love Firestone. It was like all I ate in college. But now that I'm like more cultured,
That's what I was gonna say.
I've, like,
Cultured.
I've ventured out of the slow.
I lived in
bubble.
Madrid. I'm cultured.
Okay, you have to give me some recs though. What are some recs from you guys?
Well, so are you like? Do you like Thai food?
I am not a picky eater, so
I love the
whatever.
Sister Kitchen in Grover. I don't know if you've ever been there.
What is it called?
The Sister Kitchen.
Sister Kitchen. Okay.
It's Thai food, absolutely killer. I was never a big Thai food eater, and then my wife was like, "Try this place real quick," and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's changed my life. Spicy fried rice.
I
all
love
day.
it. You brought me that spicy fried rice in what was it? Just
That was-
asada or I mean
No,
steak,
it was
or
beef.
what
and-
was it?
Steak and beef.
Yeah, steak and beef. I mean,
Or steak and chicken. I mean.
Man, I love fried rice and beef and chicken.
Oh, it was
all
so
that. It's just super, beef. Yeah. So
What about Jocko's?
I
Have you
would
been to
say
Jocko's?
Jocko's, yeah, steakhouse.
Well, they're closing, aren't they?
No,
So that was
Little
Little
Jocko's,
Jocko's.
yeah, which
Don't-
is the fast
oh,
food.
Come on, don't do that
So-
to us. That was my first job,
Joc-
Little Jocko's.
So Big
Oh.
Jocko's Steakhouse, it's like famous, nationally famous. They're opening back up fully on Friday. So
You heard it here
Where's
first.
that
know.
again?
it's on Teft, around
Okay,
Teft
in the
Street.
bottom.
Yeah, you
Taft
go
and
down
Thompson.
you go down towards the high school. I don't know if you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then you like Mexican food?
Love
Mexican food.
Taqueria Santa Cruz is my favorite.
Taqueria. Oh, those asada fries are so bomb.
Yes.
like
Oh
Los
my gosh.
Consuelos.
Las
Pomo,
Consuelos in
Los
Napomo
Consuelos,
is good
yeah.
Mexican food. So
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Las
I'll have to
Consuelos.
check
We
out
almost
those
can have
out.
our own episode of me, all of us, and you just talking about
I
food.
know.
It sounds like
Seriously.
Hey, I would love to do a segment where we go
Yeah.
and we just rate and review.
that would be
food.
cool. Yeah, we've
I'm
been talking
down.
about things like that
Seriously.
too for a while, but yeah,
Hey, I will jump on that wagon.
cool.
All right, we'll hit you up.
Keep that
for
in
sure.
mind for sure. And obviously, you can't go wrong with just some of your Santa Maria style backyard barbecue. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Got some
The
tri-tip
tri-tip.
linguiça bread on the grill. You can't go wrong with that.
every
That's how we-
barbecue I bring linguiça. It's the food
Oh,
of my people.
That's how we do it.
I got one last recommendation.
Man Rock.
Man Rock Brewery.
Man
Rock Brew.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
we've had two live shows there. They're our sponsor, so yeah, definitely shout them out.
Yeah. So
We'll have to grab a beer soon when
100%.
things start to reopen more.
Down.
Yeah, they're open for sure.
well, Megan, I
Oh,
want to say thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. This was awesome.
Yeah,
it was
it's
great
been
to sit
fun.
down and talk to you, learn about you and your life story. So thank you for
No,
coming
thank
on.
you. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I
Yeah.
love that you guys are doing this locally and crushing it. And it's so nice to meet you guys. And I'm happy that I gained 3 more friends.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And this will definitely not be the last time we talk.
No, we'll keep in touch for sure.
Sure. I'll have
Awesome.
to tag you guys on my next prompter test. I think you guys need some work.
Yeah,
I know I for sure need the
Dang.
most.
Definitely tag us. Definitely tag us on
I
that.
think they got to watch mine and they picked up a little bit.
It was
so.
a little. I mean, it was a little easier.
Wait,
going
I think
out
I
for
had the
you, but
advantage because I was last.
You're not a fast reader anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But,
You guys are awesome. Thanks so much.
hey, have a great evening. Megan. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you too. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
Bye.